this exercise. It's called a dead press. It seems a bit weird. It's like a bench press and a deadlift. Why do I like it? Because this is one of those emergency lifts where in a situation where you have to push something off you, you won't have the benefit of taking the load first, unloading it down, eccentric, and then pressing it. The situation is going to be you're going to be trapped under something. You just have to use your brute force from a dead tension position. And you just have to drive through the movement. That's what I like about this. You can either press it or you can't. The starting position's the same every rep. And it either goes or it doesn't. You're either trapped under a rubble or you're getting out. So that's the first time I've hit the bag without any gloves on for a long time. And it's important. This is one of these things where you look at exercise and how it translates to the real world. Boxers wear gloves to protect their hands, not to protect other people's faces. They wrap them with a hard, almost like a cast, and then they stick a glove on them and they hit very hard. And it saves them. Even then, they still break their hands, but it saves the other person's face. You could argue that boxing would be more humane to both parties if they didn't have gloves, because there'd be more hand injuries, less knockouts, and fights would get stopped on cuts as opposed to anything else. But it's important in terms of the real world. The payoff, like lots of these exercises, just in today's workout, is what's the payoff? What's the point of doing it, except if it's only just to make you look good and make you feel a little bit better about yourself. Those things are great, but there's many ways to achieve those same things whilst having more of a benefit in terms of payoff in the real world. So as I say, that's the first time I've hit the bag without my gloves on for a long time, and it really shows. I did the first few rounds with the gloves on, and then I just did some standing scenarios where I'm reacting to a situation where I'm standing in this situation and I've got to hit. And I tell you what, my wrists feel like they've got about 1 million micro strains. I didn't hit any bad shots, but it was just the stabilizing element of hitting the bag and an uneven surface that when I tried to do like a fence, shooting pains are going down my wrist. But that's the kind of thing you've got to bring into your real world situation. If you're training to be able to defend yourself, what's the point of having all the fitness and all the strength if you go to punch something and your wrist spazzes up, and then there you go, broken wrist, and my hand's hanging off and I'm going to get absolutely pummeled. I can't even grab someone. So you have to have real world payoff. Some of the other exercises in the workout today, one of them was a dead press, a bench press, equivalent of a deadlift. It's called a deadlift because you aren't loaded, you're not preloaded the system in a positive angle and eccentrically loading and relying on the stretch cycle of the muscle. You're basically starting from a dead position, totally unloaded. And that's the more like the situation you would find yourself in if you're in some kind of accident where you were stuck between something and you had to press it or you had to hold it and push it off. You don't have the luxury of being able to, all right, let me lower this weight down, I'm preloaded, and now I'm going to press off. You're going to be finding yourself in your situation where you might be in this kind of situation. Maybe you're stuck by the side of a car and you need to push it to give yourself some space. Lots of different scenarios where that is practical. And that's the method, or the moral behind it. The method is find some way to make exercise practical and enjoyable.